Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Adam Smith of Washington. He is the ranking member of the Armed Services Committee. Always good to talk with you, Congressman Smith. I want to start with Speaker Emerita Pelosi's comment. Are you concerned that Donald Trump is trying to make the House of Representatives obsolete?
No, I agree with her. The way I've put it is Mike Johnson has, for the moment, dissolved the United States House of Representatives and flat refused to negotiate over getting the government back open. We've had shutdowns before. We've always been in session during those shutdowns. In fact, we've been in session more days than planned precisely because we had a crisis to resolve. And I think it is very much about putting the power in Donald Trump's hands and diminishing the United States Congress. It is one of many very, very troubling aspects about the way Mike Johnson is running the U.S. House right now and dealing with this government shutdown.
Congressman Smith, beyond the political theater, this is a very real, impactful time because next week we are looking at a number of Americans, almost 41 million, 15% of whom live in your district that rely on SNAP benefits and may not get them. Can you talk about, for the American public, their understanding of the impact that this is going to have on everyday people's lives and their ability to feed their families?
Yeah, the impact of this shutdown is severe, without question. Paychecks will not be going out. Programs like SNAP will be in jeopardy. A whole lot of other programs will be in jeopardy, which is why it makes it all the more imperative that the United States Congress do its job and get back in and try to negotiate an end to this settlement. The Republican position, Mike Johnson's position, is that we simply have to vote for Donald Trump's budget and for what Donald Trump wants, and that's it. They're not going to talk to us about anything. And that is a huge problem because the point Democrats were trying to make was health care subsidies under the ACA are going away. And once you hit November 1st, they said, well, we'll negotiate with you after you vote for our budget and after the health care crisis deepens. And we need to address this issue now. And as we move into November and it's not being addressed, that makes it all the more worse. It is a difficult set of issues for us to navigate as we head into November. But look, the Trump budget, I think, has been devastating for this country. And to ask Democrats to simply vote for it without negotiations, we don't think that's in the best interest of the American people.
Do you think with all of this conversation that the real impacts actually being triggered, whether that's open enrollment and people facing skyrocketing health premiums or the actual loss of SNAP benefits or the interruption of SNAP benefits, do you think that will be enough to actually move the needle around Mike Johnson and Republicans? Because everyone who I've spoken to thus far has said that he's taking his cues from the president, and it doesn't seem like there's anything else that matters. But if the public is actually feeling it, could that accelerate this without the president necessarily giving the green light to Mike Johnson?
It could. I mean, look, it is conceivable that Trump and Johnson, decide that they care about the actual policies impacting the American people, at least as much as they care about consolidating power in Donald Trump's hands. That is possible. And we as Democrats have to figure out how to negotiate this going forward, too. We don't want to harm the American people. It's just our view that Donald Trump has done that across the board in a whole series of issues, and we have to push back and try to reverse that. And it's a very difficult position to be in, to have a president and a speaker who don't care about the rule of law or about the impact of the policies that they're putting forward and will not negotiate with them. It's really important to understand. I mean, look, they jammed through their budget reconciliation bill with just Republican votes. Okay, they had the votes, they did it. I think it's bad policy, but at least it followed the way our Constitution is supposed to work. But now they need Democratic votes to continue that budget. And the reason we have the filibuster is to force negotiations, is to force bipartisanship. And the Republicans have taken a different stance, which is no, it simply means that we force the other side to vote for what we want and don't do anything that they want. And that really undermines the functioning of Congress and has a devastating impact on the American people for all the reasons we've talked about.
Congressman, you're the ranking member on the Armed Services Committee. I want to talk to you. There are about 78,000 federal employees in the D.C. area who just this past Friday missed their second paycheck. But we've also seen servicemen and Department of War employees, get paid along with some other federal employees. How do we get to a point where, despite the shutdown, we can still get federal employees paid?
Well, it's another reason why the House of Representatives should be in session, should be doing our job. In past shutdowns, we have tried to mitigate some of the worst impacts of the shutdown by passing laws to pay people, to fund programs. And I think we ought to do that again. But again, Mike Johnson has dissolved the United States House of Representatives so that we're not doing that. I know the Senate is going to take up some of those measures this week. I think some of them are likely to pass. And I hope that Mike Johnson wakes up and decides that the House should be working, because we can take votes that would help mitigate some of those impacts, and we should.
Thank you, Congressman Adam Smith from Washington. Appreciate you being here.